Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the latest episode of Power. Lord, y'all, a lot happened this episode. Of course, it was exceptionally better than the last episode, which was the pause episode, which we all know they could have left and should have left on the cutting room floor. But anyway, let's get into this episode. This is Tommy's episode, so yeah, that's literally what it's going to be for the next, for basically all of these episodes that we've seen and the ones that have yet to come. So even though you should be able to tell because it's so iconic, just in case somebody cares, this is what I have going on with my sweatshirt. It's just SpongeBob SquarePants. I love him, y'all. I've lived for SpongeBob for I don't know how long. Like, y'all do not understand. And I calmed down the older I got, and then I completely stopped, and then I saw this as a Walmart special, and I was like, let me get this blouse. But anyway, this what I said it was, sweatshirt. But anyway, y'all, on to the episode. So y'all, they end up showing us, how the situation went down, if I'm not mistaken, showing him killing Benny. And so he went through all these different steps to actually get his body removed and, get rid of and all this other stuff. He does his usual where he dresses up as a paramedic of some sort. And, that's how he's able to transport these bodies whenever he has to do the heavy lifting. And he paid somebody off to get rid of the body, ultimately after everything was said and done. So he ended up calling his mama. And I was like, wait a minute, why is we calling your mama? What happened? He called his mama to pick him up from, I guess it was the junkyard or wherever he had taken the body last. And so y'all know how she do. She going off, what is this? What is the meaning of this? Why she acting all hysterical. She's thinking that an emergency didn't happen. And he already looking like, Lord, here we go. I ain't even got in the car. She ain't say, hey, how you doing or nothing. Like, why? So he's talking to her. And let me try to put this down a little bit so I can sit back a little bit. Y'all, talking to her, and like she starts to go off, and like before he even says anything, it gets to a point where she says something about Keisha, and he was like, Keisha's dead, Mom. And so, Lord, why you even say that to her? So, this is literally when she's first finding out about it, because they don't have that great of a relationship. So it ain't like he went and vented and cried to her like, Mom, my fiance got killed and whatever. Like, why would he do that? Because they don't have that type of relationship. So it was not finna happen. Y'all, then they end up showing Lisa Marie with her Aunt Dolores. Y'all, I live for the actress who plays her aunt. I have always lived for her. She has this, I can't describe the look. It's like unique, but not real. I can't describe it, y'all. But I've always lived for her as an actress, and she looks good. I don't know if she's ever had any surgery done. She looks good. I've seen her my whole life. Like, she looks good. Anyway, talking to her, and it got, like, Lisa Marie is very smart. That girl is 11 years old, but she's very smart. And she basically was like, look, have you heard from Uncle Benny? And she was like, you know how this go. Like, why you trying to act like you don't know how this go? It's supposed to be every hour on the hour. He ain't been calling and all this other stuff. So her aunt finally is like, yeah, I haven't heard from him in, however long. And it had been like since the night prior. And of course, we all know that Tommy killed him. So that's why nobody's heard from him. So it's just to the point where it's like, all right, now. Anyway, Vincent came out of nowhere and stopped by, and he is wanting to offer up peace. And, the aunt, she tried to shoo Lisa Marie off. And I'm like, why do y'all do this? You know how children are. So she's somewhere around the corner listening to the whole conversation. And, she was just like, look, we don't know where he at, but we've heard that, he's missing. So we want to offer up 2 men to be at your door and to guard the house. And so, she takes it. That's fine, whatever. Y'all, so Tommy is now at his mama's house. And, he's just trying to figure out what he's going to do. He's in his feelings. Like, he's still under the impression that Ghost has killed Lakeisha. And so he's really in his feelings. And, like, it seems like everybody's turning all around him. And, his business is in shambles. That operation got jammed up. He's just very exposed at this point. And, he's just looking like, okay, what am I going to do? Y'all, so he's at the house and he's talking to his mama. And then, he was like, man, I think I don't need to live here no more. I don't think this place is for me. And so she looking like, okay, well, where do you think you're going to go? He looking at a jug of orange juice, and it said California on it because, they're one of the many, states that's known for oranges. And so he was like, well, I'm thinking Florida, not Florida, y'all, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the oranges. He said California. And so she's looking like, what? And then, in her mind, she's being her usual selfish self. And she's like, well, what are you going to do out there? And, what am I going to do? Actually, talk to somebody on the street about getting my cocaine. I was like, ma'am. Y'all, but anyway, she was just more concerned about getting her fixed. She don't care nothing about what he's talking about. And, of course, she's trying to see what she need to do so he can stay around and she can get her stuff for free. Whatever. Y'all, so Proctor's daughter is listening to the recording. Because, after all that stuff happened, it's like, okay, something got to be going on. Like, this might have something to do with it, especially with her uncle being missing. So she took it upon herself to insert the little thing into her laptop, and she's listening to the recording. So her aunt goes to her room, and she overhears it. And, her aunt is kind of like, what's going on? This is good. And, she was like, look, I think that the person who I'm hearing, and this is Lisa Marie speaking, she's saying that I think the person that I'm hearing is this guy. I met him like one time, and I think he's Tommy. And, she don't know his last name or whatever, but, kids are very impressionable. They remember some kids, they will remember stuff that they shouldn't. And it's like, how you remember that? Like, there are things that I remember to this day, and my mama has been like, I don't even understand how you remember that. Like, it would be so random. Some of the most random stuff. And I'll bring her to my mom, and she'd be like, how you remember that? And I mean, I was younger than how old Lisa Marie is, at least whatever age the character is playing on this show, which is 11. I don't know how old she is in real life, because, sometimes they do that where they are not the age that they are in real life. So anyway, she's just like, okay, well, we got to make sure that this is the person. Like, are you sure? We got to make sure that these are the people that you're talking about. And the only person that she recognized voice-wise was Tommy. So she was just like, this might give us an understanding of what happened that night, and because it might be connected to her father and all this other stuff. Like, just trying to figure out what's going on. It might be something that's very important. And so Lisa Marie has this idea that I'll tell y'all about later on, y'all. So, which is now. So Tariq ends up being the one who Lisa Marie turns to and has him to listen to the recording. So, of course, Tariq being Tariq, he was like, oh, well, I don't know who that is. I don't know a Tommy. Because Lisa Marie was like, do you know, have you ever heard of Tommy? And so he's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't never heard of that before and all this other stuff. And so, y'all, he over here really trying to play that role. And the aunt is seeing straight through it. She was like, yeah, I don't believe this act. And, it got to the point where Lisa Marie kind of was like, don't come for my friend. That's kind of like the vibe that she was giving off, like, Tariq's not like that. Why are you talking to Tariq like that? I was like, oh, girl, you don't know what you dealing with. You lucky that you haven't been in a position where he's needed to kill you, because that boy would do whatever he needed to do. I'm just saying. Oh, Lord. So they got into it, and it just got to the point where the aunt was like, yeah, you need to go on about your business. And then, like, Tariq thought he was slick. He really was like, oh, well, I don't know who it is, but maybe my mom might know who it is, who some of these people are, and wanted to get, like, the recording himself. The aunt was like, nah, what we not gonna do is that. Y'all, I'm like, bruh, he really tried it. Now, if he had been there with Lisa Marie on his own and that was it, Lisa Marie would have fell for that lie. And she would have been out here looking crazy. But the aunt was there, and she saw through every single thing that he tried to throw her way. No, it was not finna fly with her. So anyway, y'all, Tommy ended up showing up at Truth that night. You remember when, well, it really wasn't night. It's just dark in there. That day when he was doing his speech and all this other stuff. And remember when we saw the original episode where they basically spliced stuff together before they did it like this, where it's like, oh, we really see the behind the scenes of this person's perspective. So this was that day when he walked in there and he was watching Ghost do his speech. And then we end up seeing like various people, like, because Tommy looked to his left and he looked to his right and you see all kinds of security in there, and then here they go. And I was like, no. So Tommy was like, yep, that's my cue to leave. He went on ahead and left out, right? So as soon as he left out the door, here comes Blanca. And she done rolled up on him and was like, yeah, I just wanted to give you Lakeisha's personal effects and all this stuff. Basically the stuff that was like on her and around her when her body was, at the house when she got killed. And then, she proceeded to say something about how, she wanted to know if he had information for her, trying to see. And I'm like, girl, why do you keep asking him? He's not finna get nobody up. He ain't like that. That's not what he finna do. So I don't know why you keep trying to do that. So it just got to a point where she was just like, well, I have some custom-made handcuffs for you because, he done reached his hands out like, he had both them wrists out like this. It was like, you got something for me? So she was like, oh, trust me, I got some for you, custom made. And he was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, y'all kill me. Because she brought up Poncho and all that stuff. And, his connection to that. And y'all, it's just a lot. And he's just trying to act like, Poncho, what kind of name is that? That's a stupid name. I've never heard of such a name in my life. Trying to play it off. Okay, y'all. I was just like, oh, gosh. So then Tommy went and got into his car, and so he's looking through the bag of things that were, supposed to be all Lakeisha's. One of the first things he sees is an earring. The earring that we all saw Tasha was missing when she killed Lakeisha. So he realizes very, very quickly that this is hers, and yeah, let me connect the dots. She's the one who killed my fiance-to-be. So he promptly goes straight over to Tasha's house. She let him in, and he's like, anybody here? And she was like, no, Tariq's at school, and Yaz is with Big Mama, or whatever she called her mom. She was like, what's going on? Ended up getting to the point where he shows her the earring. She tried to play off the fact that she's never been at their house. And, he looking like, cut the crap. So it gets to the point where she was like, no, there's something I got to show you. He about to kill her. And so she was like, look, just look under Yaz's stuffed fox on the table. There's something you need to see. So the paperwork that she had filled out for the feds and all this other stuff, that's what it was. Tommy ain't trying to hear it. He ain't trying to believe it. She was like, Tommy, you need to read it. She was planning on leaving you. She was diming everybody out, all this other stuff. He still is not trying to believe it. And so she was like, why do you think she had those bags packed? And he was like, we were already in the middle of moving. We had just moved there. That's why. And I'm like, bruh, no, no. So it just got to the point where she just is like, okay, look, he finna kill me. Let me just go ahead and accept this. So she's like, Tommy, I never thought I'd get to this. I never thought it would be you, but just take care of Yaz and Tariq. And she turned around, ready for him to just go ahead, shoot in the back of the head and be done with it. So he really is having that gun trained on her, about to kill her. I don't know what came over him, but he thought about it. He pulled the gun back, and then he went on ahead and left out the door. So she hears him leave, and so she's looking like, I'm like, girl, girl, oh, Lord. She dodged a literal bullet that day. And I was like, ma'am, y'all, tell me why the men are now, outside of Lisa Marie's aunt's house and all that. And, they out there. They doing what they're supposed to do. Cool. So Tommy ended up meeting up with Ghost. And this is, again, where we see in the episode where this was right before the shootout happened. So that same day that happened, when Ghost and Tommy were together on their roof talking, that was the same day that shootout happened, and they're thinking that it was the Italians or whatever. So before the shootout happened, they were talking, and Tommy was like, I thought you said Proctor got rid of the recording. I thought you said he got rid of that laptop. And so basically every single thing that Ghost told him he ain't had no hand in, or he did exactly what he was supposed to remedy the situation, everything is coming back clean on Ghost's end. Even the fact that he was the one who did not kill Lakeisha. So he was like, man, you know, you didn't kill her. I found out this. He was like, I told you, Tommy, I ain't never killed nobody that you love. I would never do that. I didn't do that to Holly. I didn't do that to Lakeisha. I didn't do that to nobody you love. I told you I would never do that to you. We supposed to be brothers. I didn't do none of this stuff to you. So, you know, Tommy is really beginning to understand that Ghost really has had his back. Like the whole time, even when he really has been trying to go legit, and Tommy has been slowly kind of pulling him back in because he does need him despite what he wants to continue to say. So then, you know, the shootout happens, and then we actually see what happened to Tommy. And Tommy, you know, had gone and he was trying to find whoever the second person was. Then he ends up running out of bullets. He see the guy who we saw on the ground. He was like, you're not Italian. And he went on by his business. And so he realized, like I said, he realized he was either low on bullets or he was out of bullets. So then he made a mad dash for the car. He got in the car, sped off. Tell me why whoever had an automatic weapon did not know how to shoot, because I don't think not one bullet went into the car. And I'm like, it didn't go in a window. It didn't go on in the trunk. And no bullets hit the car. I'm like, why do you have this gun with all of these bullets and not now one of them hit the car? Like you could have shot the car up a little bit or something. And I mean, he started when he was closer to the vehicle. So I'm like, this ain't making no sense, but okay. You just trash at aiming or something, and I don't understand. But anyway, y'all, Tommy ended up going to the house where Lisa Marie is at. So he ended up, you know, ultimately killing the two men. He broke into the house. Lisa Marie was there by herself. The aunt felt confident enough in Vincent's men being there guarding the house that she went off and handled some business. So Lisa Marie literally was at the house by herself. So he came in, he looking through the house, and he, you know, immediately was able to find Lisa Marie, and he wanted to know where, you know, the laptop was, because all he knew of was the laptop. That's what we initially saw too before everything happened with Proctor getting killed. So she pointed to her laptop, and like she's like petrified of him. Like she's like kind of shaking and everything. You could tell she's petrified. And he looking at the laptop like, yeah, nah. He ended up being like, I ain't got time for this. Come on, grab. He said, pack a lunch and let's go. So he ended up kidnapping her and drove off and parked somewhere and was like, look, I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to know, you know, where the laptop is and all this other stuff. So, you know, he, you know how easily frustrated Tommy can get, and that's what was going on with her. And so he's just like, look, all I want is the recording, and then I'll let you go. I'm good. So he ends up eventually being like, look, I ain't got time for this. He ended up taking her to his apartment, his flat, and then he called his mama over there. So she looking like, okay, what's going on? Who is this beautiful little girl here? And why is she here? Why is this beautiful little girl here? He was like, look, Mom, I got some business I got to handle. I need you to watch her. Sit on her. Don't say nothing to her. Don't answer no questions. Don't talk to her about nothing. Ain't nothing to talk about. Just watch her until I get back. So, you know, he ain't giving her no information to work with or whatever. And I'm just like, your mama is rail fed, first of all, and probably might be on the same strength level as Lisa Marie. So Lisa Marie could have easily, you know, slipped through her grasp and ran somewhere. And I'm like, I don't know if her mama got a gun on her, his mama got her gun on her or what, but y'all, I was just thinking of all kinds of stuff. I'm like, Lisa Marie can leave like at this point. And you know, she's older too. So I'm like, girl, you ain't gonna make it. And you a crack addict, I mean a cocaine addict, like girl, So anyway, Tommy ended up leaving and doing what he was gonna do, and he literally was sitting outside of the house where he'd kidnapped her from. So he called with a block number and was like, hey, I have something that you want. You have something that I want. We need to make a trade. And so she looking like, no, I need to hear Lisa Marie put her on the phone. He was like, yeah, that ain't how this works. And what you're going to do is what I tell you to do. And, you know, one of Lisa Marie's, I forgot if she said that was her god uncle or great godfather or whatever. He's some kind of kin or has some kind of affiliation with her too. His name is Carlo. And he was the one who told her to put the phone on speakerphone and all this. But so, you know, it's just to the point where he was like, I'll text you the location so that they can make the trade as far as Lisa Marie and the recording goes. So it's like, okay, what is going to go on here? So he got off the phone and Carlo was like, okay, Vincent, all you do is mess up. Every time, I mean, even before they had even gotten on the phone, with the guards getting killed, he was getting blamed for that. Like a lot of stuff did start because of him. Like he was over here messing over Tommy's money. Like every time you looked up, he kept messing up left and right. So he was like, this is your fault. So you're going to make it right. You're going to be the one who's going to meet with him and you're going to bring Tommy to me. So Vincent looked like, oh God, y'all. So pause and see, like when all this situation happened, Tommy ended up going, after he did all that stuff, he ended up going back to the house. So Lisa Marie was actually baiting his mama the whole time. And so she's trying to get information. She was like, this whole time, this heifer is just randomly talking. I'm like, why are you talking to Lisa Marie like this? Just talking. She was like, oh, his friend is like another son to me, Jamie. And then Lisa Marie is like, oh, well, does he have a nickname or something? Y'all, I'd be doggone if she ain't lucky, because Tommy ended up coming in the door, setting it off. Mom, didn't I tell you no talking? Why are you talking to her? No interaction. I said, oh my gosh. Like she really was up here giving up all kinds of important information. So then that's when Pa showed up, y'all. So somebody knocking at the door, he don't know who it is. He told him to go to the back. And then he made sure he let Lisa Marie know, if you say something, if you make one noise, I promise you. And so his mom was like, oh, he doesn't mean that. And I'm like, girl, why are you lying to this child? So anyway, Pa's come in. Y'all know how she was doing to me. I need you to kill Jamie for me. So he said ghost. And then she was like, what? And he was like, Jamie. And so, of course, Lisa Marie got her answer then. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. Like, y'all is just handing this child all of this ammunition. I'm tired. So, you know, that's, of course, when he ended up rushing her out the house and all this other stuff, whatever. Y'all, tell me why they are now going to be on their way to make the exchange. So Tommy's talking to her, and, you know, she's kind of trying to bait him for information. And, you know, Tommy ain't falling for it at first. So then they start talking, and she said something. She was talking about, you know, what happened to her mother, which was she knows that, you know, her daddy is the one who helped to kill her mama and make her relapse, because her father and her Uncle Benny were talking about it. And, you know, that's when Tommy kind of looked over like, oh, wow, we have a lot in common. I would have never thought we had so much in common. So he was like, yeah, man, you know, I feel your pain. My mama's a junkie. And so he was like, yeah, my mama's a junkie too. And so she was like, yeah, I know. And that's sad. That girl is 11 years old, and she already knew his mama was a junkie too. Like, that's how exposed to that life she was, because her mama was that trash for so long. I hate stuff like that. I swear it tears my nerves down to see children who have parents who are addicted to drugs and care more about drugs than them. And then they wonder why in so many cases they end up being trash individuals and a product of their environment. And it's not a great situation for them as they grow up. Y'all, anyway, so he was literally about to meet up with them and do the exchange. He ends up getting a phone call from 2-Bit in prison, and so he's talking to him. He ended up letting him know that Dre is still alive. Bells and whistles go off in Tommy's mind. He's connecting dots again. He realizes Ghost really is telling the truth about everything he's ever told me. Like, what in the world? So he ends up leaving the location. So Lisa Marie trying to figure out, okay, where we going? What's going on? He was like, look, I got to go save my friend. And he takes Lisa Marie to her aunt's house and drops her off. And, you know, that's just all it was as far as that was concerned. Now, at this point, he's not even really all that much caring about the recording. And he just knows something is about to go down with Ghost, which he's right. Y'all, oh, Lord. Okay, so wait a minute. So before he even gets to go where he's going to go, he ended up meeting up with Tariq. So he talking to Tariq, and he was like, man, your dad, he didn't lie. He told me all this stuff, and I didn't believe him. I was just so dead set against believing that he was capable, that he isn't capable of doing these things. I didn't see him for how he really was. So Tariq looking at him like, I don't want to hear nothing you talking about. You said you wanted to kill my daddy. I told you need to tell me before you was going to do it. Now you over here talking about you ain't trying to kill my daddy. I ain't trying to hear that. You need to do what you said you was going to do. So he's very disappointed because y'all know he already told him that he need to go ahead and go down for his crimes. So Tariq ain't trying to hear that. Y'all, he was like, man, I understand. Come on, man. I got to live with killing my daddy every day. And that was false information I was given. So you need to just not, hold on to that. And what y'all, Tariq ain't trying to hear that. Tommy was like, man, come with me. We got to go to Truth and help set this trap for Dre. So they're trying to trap him up, get him jammed up in some kind of way and set him up at Truth. So Tariq was like, man, I don't know what you finna do, but I ain't finna be no part of it. Do what you gonna do, but I ain't doing it because Ghost need to go. Tariq is not trying to hear nothing. I was like, oh my gosh, you done went off. So he's on his way to go do all this stuff. Y'all, he gets blocked off by like 5 to 7 vehicles. Everybody whoop over in the middle of the road and like, it's like this. Have him cornered in. Y'all, of course the person who's directly in front of him is Vincent in his car. Y'all, Tommy got tired of his spirit. And I feel like he was just like, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down fighting. He rams the car that Vincent is in. Vincent should be halfway paralyzed by now as hard as he rammed that car. Then a shootout commences. And I think Tommy kills every single last person that's there except for Vincent. So by the time he was going to turn around and check around, Vincent had a gun trained on him. And then so he actually turned around and he talking all this cash money. And I'm like, why do people do this? Y'all know how Tommy is. So of course he ends up being able to turn the gun on him and he's fighting with him and they have a scuffle. It gets to the point where Tommy took the gun and went off. He was like, you steal all this money from me? He done went all the way off. Y'all, he took the butt of that gun and beat his face in. And if y'all saw the Tyler Perry movie, the little Netflix Tyler Perry movie that happened, spoiler alert, just mute this if you haven't seen it. Y'all saw what happened on Fall from Grace, where she beat his head in with that baseball bat. Yeah, Tommy was beating his face in with the butt of that gun. So I don't know if he dead, but he should be, as hard as he was beating him. Oh gosh, he bashed his face in. Oh Lord. So anyway, Tommy, Tommy went to Truth. He finally got there. He was too late. We hear the gunshot as Tommy is like walking somewhere nearby. And so this is when we see Dre. He saw Dre outside in the car. So before we were trying to wonder, was this his imagination playing tricks on him or not? No, Tommy was there. So he ended up going inside of Truth. He find Ghost on the floor bleeding out. So he having this moment with Ghost and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened to you. Like they're really having a moment. And then he sees whoever the killer is. He pointed the gun at whoever the killer is, y'all. Of course, they're not showing us. And he was like, no, just let it go. Just let it go, Tommy. Just let it go. This man dying on the floor and saying, let it go. And the person is literally right there within his range to kill him. And he's like, let it go. Let it go, Tommy. Let it go. I was like, what? So, y'all, Tommy's trying to get him to hold on, and he's like, I'm holding on. Yeah, I'm here, I'm holding on. And Ghost died. Ghost is dead, y'all. He is dead. All I gotta say is this better not be no random dream that everybody named mama love to say, whoa, this is a dream. That's what's going on here. Y'all are thinking he's dead. Yeah, he got shot. Maybe he even got shot in the dream. This is all a dream. No, it's a dream. This better not be no dream. He better be dead. It makes sense for him to be dead, for them to go on and start a new chapter with his son being Ghost number 2. So it's like, come on now. It don't make no sense. Why would he be alive? Anyway, the next morning, Tommy showed up at his mama's house. And, she's in her feelings. He can tell she in her feelings, and she's heard the news because, as we've all seen, the news report that he was killed at his club and all this other stuff. His mama off rip was like, why did you kill him? He looking like, Mom, I didn't do that. And so she is refusing to believe that he had nothing to do with that. And she done told him to get out of her sight. She ain't here for it. And it's to the point where she was just like, I don't need you anymore. Ghost left me money, which was true. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he done went off in the wheel. Then, you know, he left him something too. So it's like, okay. She was like, it was to the point where she was like, you need to get out of my house. Like, I don't want you anywhere near me, at least while he's opening it up or nothing. Like, she was like, I don't need you anymore. I don't know how much money he left her, but she told him to get on. So I was like, okay. So I'm pretty sure that he left enough money for him to start over. Y'all, tell me why Tommy is about to be on his way out of town and 2Bit calls him. He done went and, you know, he got his car, the car he lives to have. He got it out from under the little cover, the auto cover and all that stuff. I was like, that car is so nice. So before he can even crank the car up, tell me why 2Bit called him again and was giving him all this information. And he was basically like, Spanky is out on bail. And, you know, he basically could infer that the reason why he got out is because he dimed him out. And that's why he was able to get out. Why is Spanky... Y'all, okay, he done dropped the dime on Tommy. And I'm like, why are you not thinking? The whole time when all this went down, I was like, Spanky, why are you not thinking? Tommy is a very powerful person. You have seen him kill people in front of you day in and day out. You've seen this countless times. Why do you not know that he's going to find you and kill you too, or have somebody to kill you? More than likely, he kill you himself. So Spanky walking down the street, like looking like, yes, I am free. And I'm looking at him like, okay. Tommy rolled up on him, was like, yeah, fancy meeting you here, fancy seeing you here. So they had like this little exchange and talking, and so Tommy was like, yeah, I'm leaving town. Getting me another business going. So Spank looking like, oh, really? Well, you know, you could tell me where you're going. Where you going? He was like, well, if I tell you, I have to kill you. And he politely said, California. And where my glasses at? He said, California. Spank was like this. All you saw was a bullet go through this man's glasses, through his eye, and he was dead on the ground. I was like, no. I was like, no. And it's like, I already knew he was going to get killed, but dang. Y'all, so then he ended up rolling up on Lisa Marie at the house. They had their little exchange, and she, you know, felt compelled for whatever reason to give him copies of the recording. Then she ended up giving the sole copy, the main copy that her daddy gave her from her necklace. So Tommy was like, you had that the whole time. So, you know, he kept that when he destroyed the other ones on site that were on USB drives. And y'all, she gave him all the evidence. So, you know, he's going to leave town. So he's in the process of leaving town, and they have all that information on the radio talking about how Ghost got killed, and maybe Tate will be, you know, think he might be able to be the running mate and all this other stuff. Yeah, he ain't trying to hear none of that. And y'all know what happened? He changed the channel because he didn't want to hear all that. And what started to play? Regulate by Warren G featuring Nate Dogg. I live for that song. And y'all, when I tell y'all, I couldn't stop myself. Y'all will get excited just thinking about it. But anyway, y'all, I live for that song anyway. Now, when I first heard that song, I was like, wait a minute, why do I like this song? What is going on here? And then I thought about it, and it's because they sampled one of my favorite singers of all time, one of his songs. He is the cover king. That's what I like to call him, Michael McDonald. And the song that they covered when they did that specific song was I Keep Forgetting. And it go like this. I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. I keep forgetting things will never be the same again. I keep forgetting how you made it so clear. I keep on gives me my entire life. But anyway, that's what played at the end. And I was like, wait, I was jamming the whole time until they went into showing us what's going to happen. And that we have 4 suspects left and all that. So we gonna see what happened. Y'all know that Saxe is left, Tate is left, Tasha is left, and Tariq is left. So anyway, that's the end of this. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Y'all go ahead and like this Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Y'all let me know who y'all think actually was the shooter. Let me know who y'all think was the shooter, how you think it's going to end, and all that good stuff. Who you think out of the people who are still surviving are going to die, go to jail, disappear, or whatever else. But anyway, y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all next time.